Boo. Did I scare you? Good. Hi. Welcome back, I guess. I haven't been here for a while, and despite that very obviously scary jump scare in the beginning, I'm back and I'm drawing this new thing. Well, you can't say exactly that it's a new thing because obviously I was a bit inspired by the guy going by the name Borodante. Well, I don't think he's going by the same name again, but he did his rendition of this widely known, obscure SCP-096, the Shy Guy, and I decided, well, I like to draw scary stuff, so I decided to just jump on the bandwagon and start doing my own iteration of that drawing. During this process, I solved the whole drawing in 2 days, and I kept it mostly black and white. I think some color might have slipped in, but that's literally not something I'd be bothered by because it's still unnoticeable at best. So yeah, about the drawing itself, I kinda wanted to give this weird being spotted moment here, or the moments before being spotted by the SCP. Obviously, the main character of the drawing, the viewer, is not looking directly at its face because as far as I remember, you're not supposed to, which is a good thing, but you can clearly see where the flashlight is pointed at. Anyway, basically, the whole drawing just didn't work at first because right now what you see is the first day of the drawing. The first probably hour and a half where I've been trying to get the idea down, trying to basically figure out where goes what, and honestly trying to design the thing without actually giving it proper thought, which is obviously a bad thing. But some ideas did migrate to the new iteration, which is gonna come in about maybe 30 seconds. You'll see when it comes. What I was trying to achieve with this drawing, other than having this being spotted in the moment thing idea, is also being slight, maybe redesign of the whole SCP thing, giving it more visceral feeling. I think that's the word that would describe what I was trying to achieve here. Giving it more nasty, more spotty look, giving it more texture, more character of a regular tall scary guy, scary dude, you see Slender Man and everything back in the day. Man, it surely feels like a long time since Slenderman was actually a thing. Oh, by the way, I also copied this thing from Oleg Dovenko, the Chewabug guy. You can find him on ArtStation, where he uses the perspective grid. It's his brush. I think it's his. Maybe he got it somewhere else. I got it from Verohin when he was giving his brushes away back in the day too. And you can see that I have changed the perspective a bit using this grid. Even though I didn't heavily rely on it, I just put it there just to have some, semblance of space, feeling some depth. And for the flashlight, I just used the gradient and then blocked out where I think it's supposed to be blocking out the whole thing. And I remembered that, SCP also got legs, it runs, and I was like, I need to put it somewhere. So I played around with the idea of where to place the legs. Maybe it's too high of a corridor where he's currently at, and I decided to give him a kneeling pose where it's trying to squeeze inside this corridor. And basically what goes from here is just me playing around with brushes, seeing what works and what not for the aesthetic I'm going for. And obviously the aesthetic I was going for is heavily inspired by the two names I mentioned before because they're really cool. I like them. Amazing art. Yeah, I kind of wanted to try and copy some of their stylistic choices, maybe some of their aesthetic, maybe some of their brush work. And also in this drawing, I did try to focus on the brush work more than I actually give it credit, because when I was doing that, I used a lot of different textured brushes, and I tried to pull some details out of these brushes. So basically, you use a big brush, you put down the stroke, and you figure out from there what can be used as a form and what cannot. And in the end, I still decided to go with this simple, kind of pencilish approach to my brush because it just felt nice. And as for the whole thing of the anatomy, I don't think I went too detailed because obviously it's a monster, it's supposed to have all sorts of being crooked anatomy, you know. It's really not something you should be bothered when drawing monsters. You just create something that resembles a hand, something that resembles a leg, a rib cage, a head. Well, obviously in the case of SCP-096 you have to go with a more realistic face because it has a human face with very elongated jaw. All mummy-like, mommy-like, I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Basically the Braden Fraser movie, you know, they had this cool visual where the actor playing the titular mummy was opening his mouth really wildly, and it kind of stuck up as being the poster thing, like the key visual of the whole movie that tells the whole part. I also used a lot of reference for shoulders because it gives me a lot of hustle to draw them because they're kind of weird, you know, with the whole three big masses thing going on there. And what I've done after is just, you know, going around the drawing after settling down the bigger shapes and everything. I'm just going around it, trying to fix something. I didn't want to spend too much time on this because it just felt unnatural and really would have become a very heavily over-rendered piece. Right now it's like more of a mood piece where I'm trying different approaches, and obviously, as I mentioned before, the brush work. So I tried to create this cool looking image that just, you know, wasn't taking like days of work. Basically it took like 2 days, the first day being an hour and a half, the second day being like 3 hours, and the whole drawing is totaling at about 3-4 hours maybe. I'm not a mathematician, I'm an artist. I don't do math, I'm bad at it. Also, I decided to kind of darken the chest muscles just to give it more oomph, more texture, and more shape readability. I also used this weird, like when you Google SCP-096, so the first result in the Google, where it's mostly pinkish guy, I think pinkish it was. It has some cool ideas, I took some of them, I iterated upon them, I made something that I feel looks more visceral, more scary, and then I took the in-game, the SCP Foundation Breach game, I took the design from there and I also combined it into that. I also avoided drawing arms because, you know, drawing arms is hard and it's more hustle than I wanted to go with this drawing. Anyway, the video is nearing its end, I'm finishing up the drawing. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to draw something specific, maybe specific SCP, maybe specific monster, leave your comment, leave your like, subscribe, you know, feeding algorithm gods and everything. It was Artini. See you later.